So today I'm doing a different type of video. I'm going to go through my palette collection and show you what I have. I just wanted to do this to throw something different in there instead of makeup videos and unboxing videos. So yeah, if you're interested, then stay tuned and I'll show you what makeup I have. So this right here, these two drawers are where I store all of my palettes, whether it's face palette or eyeshadow palette. And I'm just going to go ahead and go through the drawers and show you everything I have. So let's just get started. So this is my first drawer of palettes. There are some eyelashes back here, but the rest of it is eyeshadow palettes. So I'm going to start off with these right here. So the first palette I have is this Tartist Pro palette. And this is what it looks like on the inside. I got this just a little bit before Christmas and I've been loving it. It is amazing quality, and if you don't have it, I definitely recommend it. Next is this Tarte Painter's palette or something like that, and this is what it looks like. These shadows are not as good as like the Tartist Pro palette, but I do like this a lot. And then when you open it, there comes this little small palette. And it's a face palette, and it has a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight. I always tend to forget about this, that it's actually in there, because it's just hidden in this drawer and I always forget about it. Next to that, I keep these two palettes. The first one is the Studio Makeup on the Go palette, and this is in the shade Cool Down, or the palette Cool Down. This is what it looks like. I did a video with this, so I'll definitely link that up on my channel. I like this a lot. I haven't really used it since that video, but it is a good quality palette, and I'm glad I did get it in my Boxycharm. The next palette is this Tartelette palette. The reason I really wanted this one is because it is all matte, and I really wanted this bottom row. I was really in love with this color. Also, it's really nice to just have an all matte palette that if you're just going for that look one day, you can just go ahead and reach for it and just create a look. Next, over here, I have these three palettes, and the first one I have is the Shan XO palette by BH Cosmetics. This side is, you can't even see it, this side is the 9-color eyeshadow, and this is the 9-color lipstick. So I'm going to show you the eyeshadow first, and this is what they look like. They're pretty good eyeshadows. I was really impressed with them. The only thing that I don't like about this palette is there's not many transition shades, and not all of the like lid colors or shimmery shades don't go with the transition shades, so that's a bummer. But I do like these colors, and this color right here reminds me a lot, reminds me a lot of like MAC Blue Brown, or the one in the Makeup Geek Manny MUA palette that I do have and I can show you. And then this side is the lipstick palette. I don't know how much I'll use this. I don't really like using lipsticks with a brush or whatever, but I will use this if I ever work on a client or something. I did swatch them all, and they were all very pigmented and creamy, but I don't know how much I'll use it on myself personally. This is the Manny MUA Makeup Geek palette, and this is what it looks like. And this is the shade I was talking about, that it reminded me of the MAC, or the one in the Shan XO palette. This is the one from the Manny palette, and this is one from the Shan XO palette. The Manny one pulls more blue, and I think it's a little more pigmented when you put it on the lid, but nonetheless, they're both beautiful. So this is what that palette looks like. I believe this is sold out now, but I didn't even want this to begin with, but then I just made a huge Makeup Geek order and I purchased it. And I'm so glad I did, and if you could get your hand on this, you're lucky, because this is an amazing palette. Next, I just have this Makeup Geek Z palette where I keep some of my extra single shadows that I'm not using very often. I think these are from Coastal Scents and Morphe. These are just the shades that I don't reach for on an everyday basis, so I just keep them in here. But I don't want to get rid of them because I do really like the shades in here. Next, under this stack, I'm just going to pull out the palettes that are in here. And the first palette is my Z palette. And now this is where I keep all of my single shadows that I use on like a day-to-day basis. You can tell they're pretty much all the same color, just like a tiny bit darker than one another. And but I like to use this when I'm not feeling very inspired and I just want to go for like quick, easy look. This is usually what I go to. And then here are my Makeup Geek foiled right here, and then some Anastasia. These are Anastasia, Morphe, MAC, and Makeup Geek all mixed in here. And then right under that I have this Next Z palette, and these only have 3 blushes from Makeup Geek. I have Main Squeeze, XOXO, and Rendezvous. I only use these 2 really, but I am planning on like growing my collection and getting a couple more of these because I really do like this formula. Next I have the Lorac Mega Pro 3. Mine is so dirty already. I've been using the heck out of this since I got it. I got this one for Christmas, but this is what it looks like, and if you got your hands on this, go you, because this is a beautiful palette. I love this. I love Lorac shadows. I think they're amazing, and they're one of my favorite formulas, so I really like this palette, and if you got your hands on it, good job, good job. Next is this Urban Decay Gwen Stefani eyeshadow palette. Now, I saw a lot of reviews. A lot of people didn't really like this because the shadows are pretty basic, and I do like this a lot because it helps me not create very dramatic looks. And I really like these 2 shades, this blue and this yellow shade right here. I'm just going to swatch it for you. Those 2, and I plan on creating a look for you guys, but the only reason I've been holding off is you can't get your hands on this palette anymore, and I just don't know, but I mean, you can always use different shades. So those are 2 from the Gwen Stefani palette. I really like this one because it helps me stay simple and not go too glam for an everyday look. Next, I'm just going to start going through my palettes right here, and the first one I have is Naked Smokey, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to blind you. So I don't use this that often. I kind of just got this to complete my collection, but when I'm going for a smokier look, I definitely reach for this, but it's not my favorite Naked palette. The next one is Naked 3, and again, I don't really reach for this. I think the shadows just all kind of blend together, and I don't think they look that great, but I just keep it as part of the collection and reference for other things for when I do something on my channel. Next one is Naked 2 by Urban Decay, and this is what it looks like. This is my favorite smoky palette because it's so easy to create a look with these, and I think it's the best quality of the Naked palettes, and these are just my favorite shades. And then the last one I have is Naked 1, or the original one, and this is my first ever high-end palette, so I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of this one. I do like this one a lot. You can tell I hit pan on like these 2 shades, or I didn't hit pan, but I'm about to on Buck and Naked. I really was into Sin. That's one of the reasons I bought this palette, is because of this color right here. But yeah, I really do like this one, but I still like the Naked 2 better. Next, I have the Lorac Pro palette, and it looks like this. Mine has been used and loved, and I just love this palette so much. I definitely dug my finger into this one. You can tell it's so messy. This was the first Lorac palette I got from like the Pro collection besides the Pro Matte, and I'm so glad I did. I love this palette, and it's amazing. Next one is this Lorac Pro. This is the original, and same thing goes for it. It's amazing quality. I love the shades in here, and I just recently got this, but I'm so glad I did. So I would definitely recommend picking up one of these 2 shadows if you are looking for a new eyeshadow palette. The next palette in my collection is this Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar, and this is what it looks like. I love these palettes. They smell like chocolate, and they are so blendable and easy to use. I really do love the Too Faced Chocolate Bar formula. I think they're amazing quality, and I definitely recommend picking one of these 2 up. So this is the second one, Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar. Then the next palette is the original Chocolate Bar, which this is my favorite eyeshadow I've ever owned. I think it's just so easy to create a beautiful look with these, and I just love the shadows and the pigmentation and everything. It's just all so blendable and easy to use. This one I definitely recommend if you're a beginner and are looking into purchasing a high-end makeup palette. This one is definitely hands down the best, I think. The next one is the Sweet Peach palette, and there was a lot of hype going around this one, and I just caved in and bought it. I do like this palette. It's not as peachy as I thought it was going to be, but the colors in here are really beautiful. I really like the shade Luscious right here. I think it's a gorgeous like lid shade. It's very shimmery and it's a beautiful shade, and this one smells like peaches, and I just love this one too. I think the quality is still there. Definitely not as good as the Chocolate Bar palette, but it's still good, and I still love this one. The next palette is this Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia. Now, I have loved this palette. I use this all the time. I'm surprised I'm not deeper into these pans than I am because I use this so much. I'm surprised it's not gone already. Like, this palette's amazing. I would definitely recommend this or the Chocolate Bar. This one's more of like a rosy tone. Not even that. Like, there's like some where you can create rosy tones, but I do love this one a lot, and these shades are so creamy and so buttery. I definitely recommend picking this up if you can. The next one I have here is this Too Faced Selfie Powder. I only got this because it was at TJ Maxx for like 70% off, and I figured why not test it out. I honestly have not even used this yet. I've swatched it, and like, you can't really get an idea about it because they're not like pigmented powders, they're like base powders, I believe, but I don't know. I still have to play around with this and see if I'm actually going to keep it or not, but I just thought why not buy it if it's 70% off or whatever it was. The next palette I have is this NYX Strobe of Genius palette, and this is a highlighting palette, and the reason I got these were for like these unique shades, like this purple and this yellow, but I started using it and I really found that I love these two shades, like this really white one and then this like champagne-y kind of taupe color. I really like this palette. I think the powders are beautiful. They're a little bit stiffer in the pan, but they're, oh, that went over right over a swatch, but you get the idea. They're very blendable and they look good on the skin. The next one is this Lorac Pro Matte palette, and this one is dirty and used and loved. I use this almost every day when I first started my, not even my YouTube channel, first started playing with makeup. This was my go-to because it had these shades that I could really use, and I really like these ones. This black is my favorite black of all time. If you see me using a black in an eyeshadow tutorial, it is most likely this one. It's so amazing. I think it blends out so well, and it's so pigmented that it's just so easy to work with. So this is the Lorac Pro Matte palette. Next is this Elevation Pure palette by Pure Cosmetics, and it has 3 highlighters in it. If you could tell, this one's like marbled with blue and like yellow and pink and like a beige color in here, and I really was interested in this color, and this color looked like it would suit me well. I've never used this color. It's a little bit too dark for me, but these powders are amazing, and I was really surprised by the quality of these and really glad I picked it up. Next is this Becca Jaclyn Hill palette, and I know that this was discontinued, and there was a whole thing about people not liking it, and it wasn't good quality, and whatever. You can just search videos about it because I'm sure there's plenty of them. I think I got a pretty good one. I love the quality of this one, and this shade right here. I love this shade. I think it's beautiful, and I love to put this all over the lid. But I got this because I love Jaclyn Hill and I wanted to support her. And last but not least in this drawer is the Naked 2 Basics by Urban Decay. This is more of like a cool toned eyeshadow palette, and I thought I would use it a little bit more when I first got it because I was into cool tones then, but now I'm really into the warm tones and stuff like that. But this is a good travel palette, and I'm looking to get to Naked Basics 1. But if you're really into cool tones and just want a small little palette of matte shadows that you can just throw on your crease and lid and whatever, I would definitely recommend this one. Next is this drawer down here, and these hold a lot of my not so high-end makeup, so I'm just going to start off with like this row right here. And the first palette I have is by Morphe, and this is the 9B palette. This is the first blush palette that they came out with, or like circle pan. I really like this palette. I love these 3 colors right here. They are amazing. The quality, pigmentation, it's all there. It's a beautiful palette, and if you're a makeup artist, I definitely recommend picking this up. Next is the 9N palette, which is the more natural blush shades, and Again, I really like these shades because they're shimmery, and these two are amazing. I love them. It's a really good palette, same quality as the first one, amazing. I would definitely recommend picking this up as well. Next, I have all 4 glow kits because I'm obsessive and needed them all. So let's just start off with that glow. This is one of the first glow kits that came out, and this is definitely my favorite. It has the more shades that match me better that I like to wear on my skin tone. This is one of my favorites, and the formula is like so buttery, and like it's just an amazing highlighting palette. The next one that came out was Gleam, and this was more of the pinky toned, and I got this just for the sake of having it, but I really loved Crushed Pearl and Mimosa. These are some amazing quality, same quality as the first one, and if you're into the more pinky tone highlight, I recommend this one, if it's even out anymore. The next one is Sun Dipped, and this shade right here is my life. I love this shade, it's a beautiful highlight. Along with Moonstone, these two are amazing. I love using tourmaline on like my lid for an eyeshadow. It's a beautiful shade, but it's too dark for me to highlight with, but it's such a beautiful eyeshadow. I love using this one as an eyeshadow. I really like this one. This is my second favorite under that glow kit. And then this one is the last one that came out, and this one is Sweet. I got this one because of these two shades right here. This one's like duochrome almost. It's like white with like a yellow shift. I don't know if you can see that on like camera. And then this one's just purple, and I thought I needed it in my life. It's a really unique color, and I really like these. These are all very amazing quality, and if you can find any of these anywhere, I would definitely recommend picking them up. Next, I just recently got this. This is the Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette, and this is the light shade, I believe, or in like light to medium, and I love this. It smells like chocolate, just like the rest of the chocolate bar palettes, and I think this is amazing quality, and this is perfect for bronzing, and this color is perfect for contouring and then setting your under eye, and you can even highlight with this one. It's not as intense as other highlights would be, but I definitely love this, and I would recommend getting it. It's one of my favorite contour kits. Next in here is this BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Ultimate Brow Palette. I got this because I was doing prom makeup, and I didn't have shades to match the girls that I was doing. I do not like these waxes down here. They're very like oily and they don't stay, but these powders are very nice. They're powders. I mean, you can't really go wrong with them. I just figured I'd get this over the big Anastasia $80 brow powder palette because I wasn't sure how much prom makeup I'd be doing, so I just went for the cheaper option, and this is a great option. I do love this palette. The next one is this NYX contour palette. I got this as my first contour palette, and I really did like this. I dug something into this, I don't even remember what, but I was taking these out. You can take them out like this, and I was putting them in a deeper Z palette and just traveling with them. I really do like these powders though. I think they're beautiful, and they blend out pretty well, not as well as high-end, but this is a very good drugstore option. The next one is this NARS Narcissist palette, and it's very scratched up and loved. I love Laguna. This is my favorite bronzer of all time, and I'm going to hit pan over here pretty soon. I don't really get my brush over here. I just kind of swirl it at the end, but these blushes they're pretty pigmented. They're pretty, but I just don't ever really reach for them just because they're not exactly my shades. The really only thing I use in this is Laguna, and I wish I would have just bought Laguna on its own, but I do have this palette and I do like it. The only reason I'm keeping it is for Laguna. Next is the Anastasia Contour Kit. This is in light to medium, and it just looks like this. I really only use these two shades for like bronzing and contouring and stuff, and then I like to use this banana shade every once in a while. I usually use the Too Faced Cocoa Contour Kit or the other one I'm going to show you right after this, but this one's a great palette, and if you are looking for a high-end contour kit, I would recommend this one. The next palette is my favorite palette, and this is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette, and it looks like this. I live for this palette. I'm surprised it looks like I haven't even touched this, but I use this all the time. I love this. I definitely use this banana shade a lot. These are a little bit more pigmented than the Anastasia one, so if you're just figuring out makeup and stuff, I would recommend the Anastasia one over this one, but this is my favorite high-end makeup palette. Next is the Morphe 9C palette, which I can't even open. It looks like this. I like this palette. It's not my favorite, but I just keep it for another option, more cheaper option for when I'm doing drugstore tutorials or something like that. So yeah, I just have this one. This dark shade I wish I could use because it looks so delicious to me, but this is the 9C and it's very good quality. I recommend getting this if you're looking for a cheaper option. Next, I have some palettes hidden right here. I'm just going to pull these out and we'll just go one by one with these. So the first one I have, which is already dirty, my palettes get dirty so fast because I just use the heck out of them. This is the Morphe and Kathleenlights palette. And this is what it looks like. I just did a tutorial with this, so I can link that down below if you want. I used this shade on my lower lash line. I love the way it turned out. I think these shadows are pretty amazing. I really love the selection and like the pop of color. That just gave me life. This is my favorite color and this is one of the reasons I bought this. But this is an amazing palette. I love it, and if you can still get your hands on it, I definitely would because it's cheap and it's great. Next is the Pure Cosmetics Troll Collab, and this is what it looks like. I got this because I thought it was unique, and I think the trolls are awesome. These two colors were just calling my name. I needed it. This blue is giving me life. I love this like turquoise green shade right here. It's so gorgeous. It's like a mossy green almost. I haven't really used this yet. I used it maybe once, but I only used these two shades. Didn't get really a good idea on it yet, so I have to play around with this a little more, but if you can get your hands on this, I think it's a pretty awesome palette. I would definitely grab it. It's a little bit smaller than I thought. Like, I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger, but you still get a lot of product, and it's not like I'm going to use these shades up in a certain amount of time. So yeah. The next palette in my collection is this Persona Identity palette. This is by, her name is Sona, which her name's in the name. I got this to show my support of her. I love this palette. I think it's gorgeous. I've only used it a couple times, but I really love the shades in here. Very neutral, everyday palette, but this seductive shade right here, just look at that. It gives me life. I love this shade. It's so shiny and reflective, but I think this palette's amazing, and I would definitely order this. I think it's an amazing palette, and I just wanted to support her. I would definitely get your hand on this if you can. The next two palettes I have are the Too Faced Chocolate Chip and the Too Faced White Chocolate Chip. I just got these. I haven't had a chance to play with them yet, but I got this one because it's all matte. And then I got this White Chocolate Chip one just because it's like a collector's item to me. I felt that I needed to have it. So here's what they look like. This is the White Chocolate Chip on top. I was a little disappointed in these. They look all kind of similar, and I just wasn't, I'm not loving this one. I'm not thinking of a very beautiful look for me to do with this one, but these ones I love. These shades right here I can't wait to get into because those are my type of shade right there, and this burgundy shade I'm loving. So I'm gonna have to play around with these both and see if I can come up with a look. If you want to see a review and swatch video or whatever, just comment down below and let me know. And then I have this Essence All About Nude eyeshadow palette, and I got this when I first started with makeup, and the only reason I really still have it are for these two shades. I don't know what it is about these, but I just cannot get rid of them. I just love these two shades. They're right here. It's a very cheap palette, so I don't feel bad like keeping it because it wasn't that much money, and it's not like it's going to waste because I do use this shadow a lot. But yeah, these are pretty good shadows. There's not matte in here, but you could definitely make a look out of this. And then last but not least, we're going to go through this row right here. And then we have a couple more palettes somewhere else, but I'm just going to pull those out. So this is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Brushes favorite palette, and it looks like this. I lost one. I used this all the time when I first got it. This was one of my favorite palettes. Obviously, because of Jaclyn Hill and the reason that she made it, I needed it, but this is a really good palette, and I think that the shades in here are beautiful. I don't think you can get this online anymore, but if you live in the Burbank area, I think you can still get this in store. Next, I have the Morphe 35E palette, which is, if I can ever open these, this very colorful, shimmery palette. I keep this more for Halloween tutorial purposes, but it's a very reflective and beautiful shimmery palette. I like to use this whole top row for highlighters. I got that idea from Jaclyn Hill, and she got it from someone else, but great idea, very pigmented colors, and I like to keep this for my Halloween look. Next, I have the Morphe 35O, and if you are a YouTube follower or even a YouTuber and you don't have this palette, what are you doing with your life? Like, this was the most hyped palette I think I've ever bought, and I'm glad I did. It's a really good palette. I haven't really used it that much because I kind of forget that it's hidden back in here, but I really like these colors. They're all up my alley, and if you want to see a tutorial using this, just comment down below. The next palette I have is the 35N palette, and it looks like this. It's an all matte palette, and I thought I would get more use out of this. The shades just all kind of blend together, and they don't really call my name very much. I don't think they're that easy to blend. This is one of Morphe's not so good palettes, but I still like this. I'm keeping it for these two shades right here. They're peachy, and then some of the darker shades I do like, but it's not my favorite Morphe palette. Next, I have this Morphe brushes. This is the 35T palette. It is like the taupey brown colors. I did a tutorial using this shade right here, I believe, and maybe even this one. I really like this palette. They're all just kind of very dark for me though, so I usually have to go in with another palette to start with a transition because I can't just pick one of these really dark shades to use as a transition color. The next two palettes I got are the 25A and B. Let me just open them for you. They look like this, and my favorite one is this one because they're more like rosy toned, but these shadows are pretty pigmented and blendable. They're not their best, but I do like these a lot, and the shimmery shades are beautiful, but that's pretty much a given. Easy to do. Shimmery shades are the easiest to do, so. But I like these palettes. If you get your hands on these, I would recommend them because they're pretty good. Now, if I have any palette that I would recommend getting, it would be the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible palette. I love this palette. These highlighters are amazing. Eyeshadows are so good. I think this palette's amazing, and Carly Bible did an amazing job on this, and I'm really proud of her for this. You can get this at Ulta now, and it's cheap, it's so affordable, and it's so good. I love this palette, so I would definitely recommend picking this up. Next, I have the Morphe 12P palette, which is the vibrant color palette. I'm really only keeping this because of Halloween tutorials and stuff like that, or when I want to do a crazy lid look or something. I just keep this for that purpose. I don't use this very often, but when I do, it's pretty pigmented and very good quality. I like this. Then the next palette is the 25S, which is the Soul of Summer palette, and it's just a very nice shimmery palette. So when I'm trying to do a look and I can't find the right shade for my lid, I usually reach for this, and there's always something in here. I really like this palette a lot. Next, I have this Sonia Kashuk Eyes on Neutral Matte palette, and this looks a lot like the Lorac Pro Matte palette, and the reason I got this is because I wanted the Lorac Pro, but I didn't want to splurge on it right away, so I got this one. Found myself that I was using this a lot, and then I wanted a better quality palette. But in all honesty, I think they're both amazing. They're both great quality. So if you're looking into the Lorac Pro Matte palette, I would definitely recommend picking this up instead because pretty much the same shades and same quality. Next, I have this Lorac Rizzling Romance palette, and it looks like this. I got this for Christmas 2 years ago, and I do love this palette. I don't use it that much, but it's a beautiful palette. I think it was limited edition, and I don't think you can get it anymore, so I don't really do tutorials with this, but I do use this every so often. Next is this Urban Decay palette. I think it was called the Armor palette or something. I'm not exactly sure, but this is what it looks like. It has just some colorful shades. I got this because it was like a limited restock, I guess, and I really wanted it. I don't use it that often, but when I do like Halloween tutorials, that's one reason I keep this. But yeah, this is, I don't even know the name of this. I think it's the Armor palette or something like that. And then last but not least in this drawer is the Anastasia Quad palette. I just have 4 different shades. I don't even think these are Anastasia shades in here. I just keep these in here because they don't fit in the other little Makeup Geek palette I have, and they don't fit in my everyday palette, but I just wanted to keep these shades together. Next, I have a little blush drawer down here that I keep some blush palettes in, and the first blush palette I have down there is the Benefit Cheekathon palette. I really like this one. I wanted to try some of the Benefit box blushes, but I wasn't into buying each and every individual one, so when they came out with this palette I was really excited. My favorite blush is Rockateur and Coralista. I think these both are beautiful. This is definitely my favorite out of the whole palette. Dallas is okay. I really like that Hula's in here. I'm running low on my Hula in like the box, so once that happens I'll definitely be using this a lot more. This is the Benefit Cheekathon palette. Next is this Makeup Revolution palette, and this is Sugar and Spice, and this is what it looks like. They're very out there blushes, and I don't find myself reaching for this that often because of these really bright colors. I mean, these 3 shades right here are pretty, but I don't use this that often. I just kind of keep it for a backup or a drugstore option for blushes if I'm ever doing a tutorial. The next palette is this Becca Jaclyn Hill that I'm holding upside down. This Becca Jaclyn Hill palette, and this is what it looks like on the inside. I freaking love this palette. These 2 shades, I love these blushes, they give me life. These highlighters are amazing. I love this palette. I use this all the time. And if you got your hands on this, good job, because this is an amazing palette. I love this one so much. And then last but not least is this Tarteist blush palette. This is my first ever like blushes from Tarte, and I love this palette. I think these shades in here are beautiful, and I love the formula of these. So if you're ever looking into getting a Tarte blush, I just recommend doing it because they're beautiful shades and they're just amazing quality. So that is it for my makeup palette collection. Thank you for watching. I'm sure this is a long video. It took me a long time to film. If you like more videos like this, just let me know. I can do more parts of my collection. And I know I have a lot. I probably shouldn't have this much, but I'm growing my YouTube channel. I want to keep growing my YouTube channel, so I want to have different options to create different videos. But yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!